Hey guys, my name is Jackson Becker. My YouTube channel is Becker Saltwater Guide, so if you could check that out and maybe hit subscribe, that'd be great. And today I have Jamie Wilkinson.
Pleasure to be here with you, buddy.
Yeah. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself, about your background?
Yeah, well, sure. So I'm Captain Jamie Wilkinson. Depends what what circles I run in, but you know the one it's a pleasure to be here with you talking fishing. Two of my favorite things, fishing and ohana.
Yep.
So we're able to combine them both here. But you know, I think the coolest thing about fishing or any passion, and kind of also what ohana represents, is that you follow your passion, you follow your dreams. And you know, people always ask, how do I make a career out of something I love? Art, music, fishing, skiing, NASCAR driving. You know, if you truly love that sport or love that activity, you'll find a way to make that your life's goal.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always happen in a linear fashion. You don't always get there from A to B. I didn't get there from A to B. You know, I have been an angler since I could walk. But it took me a couple years of getting out of college, getting a career, learning how to apply that then to fishing, and then now making fishing my livelihood. But I always had the passion, and I always wanted to come back to it. So you know, that's one of the things. Is right now I'm a captain. I did that more out of a way to fill a void as far as I'm producing television shows and creating content. There's a lot of downtime.
Yeah.
And one of the things to be authentic, you have to do the activity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't just you can't just say that you do it.
You can't catch a redfish once and then all of a sudden be an expert, right?
Yep.
You have to continually catch redfish. So in that downtime, I started running guided trips, and it really helped me both feed myself, because I want to be on the water all the time. The second part is help people catch more fish, teach people. I love the idea and the concept, especially when I get a family on my boat and watch that little boy or girl catch their first fish on my boat.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you hope that you just planted a seed, conservation for
the
life
rest
of passion for that kid. They had a positive experience in the
rest of their lifetime. Yep.
And then I also stay on top of the fishery, the health of the fishery, and then you know what's biting and what we're going to film next.
Yeah.
Before the show started, he was actually filling us in on one of the great areas, and I don't know if you want to tell everyone.
Oh, see, yeah,
the great areas in the area to fish.
You know, I moved here 11 years ago from Central Florida area, and we have a lot of great fishing. You know, the coasts are close to each other.
Yeah,
the Gulf and the Atlantic. I spent a lot of my time fishing in an area called the Mosquito Lagoon in the Indian River.
Mosquito Lagoon,
famous for tailing redfish. But when I moved here, the thing that impressed me so much about this area, whether it be Walton, Okaloosa, or Bay County, is the sheer diversity in fisheries.
Yeah.
We have the Gulf, we have beautiful bays, we have creeks, we have lakes.
Rivers, we got everything.
And they're all related. So, you know, some of the areas, you know, that I like to personally fish are West Bay, East Bay, and then an area Jonathan was talking about was called Crooked Island, which is a little known paradise between Panama City Beach and Mexico Beach. So there's a lot of exploring to do. You know, it's just a great place to live.
Yeah.
You know.
So I know you have been producing outdoor shows for a long time.
Sure.
How did you get into that business, or how did you decide that that's what you wanted to do?
So I love fishing, but I also loved the entertainment industry. And that's kind of what I mean by it took me a little while to get back to or figure out how to integrate fishing into my business plan.
Yeah.
When I got out of college, I worked for NBC in New York City, and then I went to California and worked for the Walt Disney Company for many years. There was a gentleman by the name of Stan Lee who created Marvel Comics, who I went and ran his company, and we did the Spider-Man movie, the X-Men movie. I'm moving far away from fishing now, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm in comic books.
yeah.
I was in Disney, now I'm in comic books. I got to get back to fishing. So, it was just in my mind. It was always in my mind, no matter the successes I was having and the great times and working with different people, I worked with Michael Jackson a lot, Mary J. Blige. I mean, a bunch of diverse entertainment folks, but fishing was always like there.
Yeah.
I had a pretty fancy car in LA. I knew I was making a change because one day I just drove it into a pickup truck place and got a pickup truck. It was the beginning. It was the beginning of the transformation. I was coming back around. And I met someone else I used to work with at Disney, and they said, "Hey, ESPN is starting ESPN Outdoors, but you have to move to Montgomery, Alabama." And take a bunch of steps down where I was. But you know what? I just said, here's my shot. It's easy to work my way back up.
Were you married at the time, or?
Was not, which is great. I met my wife in Alabama. So, that was cool. But it was just one of those things where it felt honest. Like, if I go do this, I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And so I was able to take all that skill set that I learned.
Yeah.
Not doing fishing content, right? And the great thing was now I said, wow, I can make good fishing content. I know how to make good TV and good movies and good web stuff.
You know how to keep people interested.
Right. Yeah. Principles of storytelling, all the stuff that you need that if I just tried to do fishing, I would not be where I am today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and it's even helped you. I mean, a lot of people don't know this out here, but he was one of the connectors between like Lee Bryce and a lot of the musician artists that have come to the school. So I didn't even realize you were in the entertainment industry till right now. So that's really cool to hear.
Yeah. So they all roads lead to people's passions.
Yep.
So no matter if you're, a musician or an artist or whatever, if you can find commonality between passion with somebody,
yeah,
that's going to spur all kinds of opportunity. But it has to be authentic.
Yep.
So that's what if that seed is planted in you, whatever that interest is,
right.
If you stay true to it and keep focus on it, you'll come back to it.
And people can see what you said about passion. People can tell.
Yeah.
I have people come into the school before and they'd be like, you can tell who has passion, who doesn't.
Right. And that's what it's about. I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't necessarily grow up in a huge angling family.
Yeah.
But I had this, for whatever reason, me and a couple of my friends, we were crazy about it. I mean, we'd ride our bikes every day, fish wherever we could. But what the great thing was that my parents saw it and they just helped it along.
Yeah, that's kind of how my parents are. My dad goes fishing with me sometimes, but he's not as into it as me.
Right, and that's okay.
Mostly because he's not as good as it as me.
Right.
I just catch more fish than him.
But I did hear what you got for Christmas, so he was the one behind.
Yes,
right?
yes, he does help me get more into it.
Yeah,
and,
he supports you
and support me in growing in it.
And that's all that matters, as long as you have that support system just to encourage you, because I think fishing years ago was really considered just a recreational activity.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, especially since we've been through this COVID pandemic, or we're going through it, if you look at the national trending chart of activities that have been widely accepted during COVID, fishing has been the one thing that every state has said this is something you can enjoy safely.
My boat value went up, and I think yours did too, right?
Yeah, boat values went up. Don't tell my wife that, because I have 5 of them right now.
But tell me, why do you have 5 boats? What kind of fishing?
Well, so that's the other thing. We mentioned how great and diverse this area is. Most places in Florida or west or east coast, you can get away with 1 boat. You can't here. The Gulf of Mexico gets rough. The way we're not, we're orientated east-west, not north-south like the peninsula. So that wind really affects us. So you need a little bit bigger boat to enjoy the Gulf.
Yeah.
The bays, Choctawhatchee Bay, the middle of the bays can get rough.
Yeah, they can.
So you need so I have a 17-foot Maverick that I use for that. And then in the wintertime, when we go to places like Crooked Island when the water's gone, or Sandy Creek where these trout and redfish move in the winter, you need a super shallow boat. So, it's like any other hobby or any other. And unfortunately, that a lot of that stuff comes from sponsors, so I'm
Right.
not having to buy them.
What kind of flats boat do you have?
Maverick.
Maverick.
Yeah, but you do, if you're gonna do this stuff on a high level like
Right.
golf or anything else, you need equipment that can get you there.
Yep.
And that goes with, the one thing that the better you get or the more experience you get at fishing, the one thing that shrinks, you know what it is?
What is it?
Your tackle.
Tackle?
When you're starting out, you buy, and it's a great thing. You buy every lure you can.
Well, because you
I've
learn
done
what's
that.
you learn what's good and
Right,
what's
you
not.
buy every
Yep.
lure and every
Yep.
color, and then as you go down, you're like, my tackle box right now, if we were going to go red fishing, would be about that big.
Yeah.
I have like
Wow.
4 things in it, multiples of 4 things.
Right.
Same
Yeah.
4 things, and that's it. But so it's a fun journey, and it's a good way to enjoy nature and the world. So
Sure. So you said you did ESPN.
mm-hmm.
When did you get your chance, or when did the connection come for you to start doing Chasing the Sun?
So there was, for anyone who knows the Panhandle, there was a spring break problem here for a few years.
Yes.
Things were going crazy, and I just moved here when that was really toppling over, and I just saw so much more this place had to offer than college kids partying on the beach, and it was never talked about. No one ever talked about West Bay or East Bay or Choctawhatchee Bay or any of these places.
No.
So I went to the city government of Panama City Beach for 3 years. I pitched Chasing the Sun, and it took me 3 years. They finally said okay. Now it's in its 6th year. But it was really, again, I went back to the principles of I learned in Hollywood entertainment. Put together a concept, put together a pitch sheet, put together a budget, found networks, had a crew lined up, and so then I was able to apply that to fishing. But actually fishing for the betterment of our area, right?
Yeah, to really show off and
Right.
to show everybody how good our area is.
And
Yeah.
they say, there's a saying called high water raises all boats,
Yep.
right? Well, if I could make people like Chasing the Sun, they may come here instead of going to
It's true.
Tampa. That means our fishing guides have more business. That means our hotel. So
Yeah.
through fishing, was trying to create a better economy.
Yeah.
And now where's that show at? So I used to watch that show a lot.
Still on Discovery
It's
Channel.
on Discovery Channel. See, I don't have cable anymore, so
Well.
online maybe.
Cord cutters, yeah. I mean,
Sorry.
but you can get Sling or Apple TV or it's on
But
Amazon.
it used to be on, I think, NBC or something, didn't it?
It was on NBC Sports.
Okay, but I remember seeing it on TV somewhere.
It's on a bunch of different.
I used to have cable, so.
right? And it's been picked up on a bunch of networks, but it's on YouTube. It's on Amazon Prime. It's
Apple
on
TV.
Apple TV. So that's one of.
Yeah. What about the others? What are some of the others you've done here over the years?
Well, I have a new show called Emerald Tales that I'm on. I have another show called Guides Tales that I'm on. We're doing I don't know if you've heard of DOA Bait Company.
I have. Yes. It's
So we're doing DOA's new show. In Texas, in April, we'll be filming the whole month in South Texas.
So that's one of the things in his tackle box.
That's fine.
DOA.
We figured out
shrimp.
one. We just got to figure out
Right,
the other
I'm
three.
also sponsored by Rapala, so all their stuff's
hint.
in there. Hint, hint.
Oh, I got DOA shrimp in my tackle
Yeah,
box too.
so it's fun. We're doing the interesting thing is that the more as time goes on, more and more of our work is not TV. It's web. It's digital based, short form. So instead of doing 30-minute shows, we're doing 3 to 5 minute videos,
Yeah.
which is great because you can compete with me in the same space, right? We're both on YouTube, we're both on Amazon, wherever. You can create content that competes with me, where I could never do that before because you'd have to get on a TV network.
Yeah.
So you have such a bigger runway than I ever had.
Yeah,
Now-
because there wasn't like
Yeah, I mean, you can create your own business.
Right.
The only
On
difference is you
YouTube.
just still have to learn storytelling.
Yep.
That's the main difference between new school and old school, right? I can't
Right.
believe
Yeah.
I ever say I'm old school, but I guess I'm getting there.
Because even when you take someone fishing, I mean, you've got to make that whole experience.
It's an experience, and that is really important. When everyone talks about fishing, it's not if you think of your best fishing day, I guarantee you the smallest part of that day was catching fish.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
The ospreys diving in the water, dolphins jumping. I mean, it's experiential. It's not about that 30-second fight with the redfish. It was everything leading up to that
Yeah.
and everything after it.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. It's all about the experience.
I grew up near Steenhatchee, Horseshoe Beach,
Oh,
all
yeah.
that area, and I know there's a fishing guide there that part of his is they have lunch on a little
Shore
island.
lunch, yeah.
Shore lunch, and so they pull up and whatever they've caught, they cook it up, and
Yeah.
I always thought, man, if I was a captain, I would totally do that for my love for food also.
Yeah, but you want to get
Cooking.
everyone off your boat.
Yeah.
You want
Yeah.
to just catch the fish and go, hey, yeah, thanks.
Take
Great-
it home.
Great
Yeah.
day, yeah. Time to clean them.
Yeah. What other questions you got for him?
So what? Out of all the fishing you do,
Yeah.
which I know it's everything. What is your favorite? What is your favorite species to go after? What is
Probably bonefish.
bonefish?
Sight fishing in general. I mean, I grew up fishing on tuna boats and fished the World Bill Fishing Series, did all the big fish stuff.
Yeah,
It has its thing. It's a whole different mentality. But the idea of, again, getting as the more I mature in fishing, the less stuff I want to deal with. I want a boat with as little things to clean or break as
Right.
possible.
or hit your foot on or step on
Anything. I want a simple tackle box, just a few rods.
Yep.
I don't want a lot of gear. So sight fishing, when you get really into sight fishing, is the pinnacle of in my opinion, because it's it's one fish, one cast.
Yeah, that's true.
And a successful day sight fishing could be catching one fish. Your expectation is not, I'm going to go, I'm going to go fill a whole I'm going to go fill a whole cooler. We
No, you're
smashed 'em.
looking for that one fish,
It's not the whole mentality. It's, I'm going to go find one fish, make one cast,
and when you catch that fish, you're on to the trying to find the next.
and then you try to catch two fish.
yeah,
And, it's just that idea. And you're looking at a fish that's calm. It's in its environment. It's cruising along. It's totally at ease.
yep,
It's not, you're not getting one that's dumb, busting on bait.
yeah,
So it's a hunter kind of thing. I think flats fishing would be the closest fishing experience to bow hunting
yeah.
that you could get.
I know hunting's a big passion of yours also.
It is. Hunting's another big thing.
You so do you ever fly fish?
Yeah.
You do?
We do. I used to. I come and go with fly fishing. It's one of those things where you have to have a lot of time in the right conditions. If you, and again, I'm going to kind of contradict myself. I always tell people to fish no matter what the conditions are. Just go fish, or go experience. But fly fishing is one of those things that really everything has to.
The wind has to be right.
Wind has to be right. The water has to be just like this. Everything has to be, and the wind direction.
Yep.
Depending on where you fish.
Yeah, because if the wind's blowing against your side, you hook yourself,
Or
and
if
it's
it's
just,
in your face.
Yeah,
and
it's just a bad day.
So, if you're just looking to go fish and enjoy the day, fly fishing for me is
not
on the top of the list.
yeah.
But I'll fly fish for tarpon. I'll fly fish for bonefish.
I got a question for you, actually. So